It's not that people don't want to go to work.
Huge
It's
lie.
people that finally actually begin to realize what they're worth and finally understand they can do the same job at home for a lot of them and do it better and more efficiently than what they can do in an office or in a cubicle. They don't have to be in a
Yep.
cubicle dealing with with the office bureaucrats and the bullshit from a bullshit supervisor, and then begin to figure out how to source another stream of income from the house, take care of their family from the house, and spend most of their time at the house and be okay. So this whole thing of trying to of nixing the monies that people have been getting, it's a corporate ploy, and it's the fault of the American people for allowing it to happen. Because remember, every congressman and every senator that has a seat, we voted those fuckers into that.
Yeah, we voted Biden in too, and he on their side. He like
Exactly.
he just screwed us over
Exactly.
big time,
Yep.
big time.
So just like we voted them in, we can vote
We
their
watching
asses out.
your ass, Biden, because
I
this one
don't
right
know.
here is not cool.
I feel like a lot of Americans got lazy myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of them guys who feel like a lot of people got lazy.
Now, I'm agree with you about 45% on that, because I do agree to some extent that a lot of people did get lazy. But at the same time, they claim it's, oh, I'm not going out there to get COVID. You wasn't out there trying to get COVID anyway. Like, come on now. But I mean, I do believe that a lot of people were using it as a crutch and not going back. Like, hey, I can make this much at home rather than going to work, so many hours off the unemployment. Now, if you was at home working from home, I get it. But you just not going to work because you get more than unemployment than you would working a job, then go find yourself a better paying job. They're out there. Hell, UPS is hiring right now, and they start you off at $20 an hour.
I mean,
FedEx is doing the same
they
thing.
should have been telling these businesses, why don't you raise the wages so people can be more attracted to come and work for you? Instead,
Because
they're
they come
like,
up.
okay, y'all don't have to do nothing. We're going to cut off their unemployment and force people to go back to
Yeah,
work.
but then at the same time, it's
That's
up to you to go back. You don't have to
It's
go
up to
back
you.
That's a
because
bad.
you
No,
can
you do
start
have
your
to go
own
back.
business.
That's the whole
No, you
point.
don't. You can start your own business. You can do what you've been doing. You know
Ain't
what I'm saying?
They need to
But
get their ass
no,
back to work then. You know what I'm saying?
that's what
Like
they're
you,
gonna have to do. They're gonna be forced to go because they're gonna run out of money. That's the whole point of why they're cutting it off, so people can really be forced back into slave work and slave labor. You know what I mean? Like
I don't feel like that. If you sitting there
$7.25 an hour,
banking on,
$10 an hour. Like
if you banking on
now nobody
unemployment,
can live off $10 an hour. I'm
that's
sorry.
what
yeah,
they're
I
offering people.
understand that.
But that's
What
what
was
they're
you saying, Dirk?
offering people.
Personally, I think that if the corporations would actually treat the employees better, they
Like they
wouldn't they
should have
wouldn't
been doing a
have
long time ago.
they wouldn't have an issue going back to work, right? But now that a person that people have had a break from an abusive relationship, and now you're asking a person to willfully go back into that abusive relationship.
They ain't asking, they forcing.
Well, yeah, it's
They're not
forced. That's
even
what abusers
asking. That's
do,
the
right?
problem.
Yeah,
They're not
they
even
kind of making it
asking people.
impossible.
They're forcing people to
They kind
do
of making it
this.
impossible.
So y'all really think people are functionally living off unemployment checks?
Not everybody. That's the
And if
thing.
they are, and if they are living
It's
off these checks, then that little the little $10 an hour ain't so bad. Goddamn me. I mean, depending
right.
on, you know what I'm saying. Like if you banking on $400 a week, you know what I'm saying, living off that, then come on, where your motive? What does it
I
about
mean, because $10 an hour, that's not, and depending on how many hours you work, that's barely $400 every 2 weeks.
Can't
Barely.
nobody live off of that.
And if you were getting $400 a week, so every 2 weeks, that's $800. That's way more than what they've been seeing.
I mean, but
No, people are making that $300 extra on top of the
Yeah,
state benefit. So that's
right.
for most people is a little over like $550 a week.
And
A
then you
week.
take in consideration that people have gone down to their respective welfare office and began to apply for EBT. So that's between 250 and 700 extra dollars on top of that a
Mm-hmm.
month. You know what I mean? So there is going to be a segment of the population that's just let's be honest. They're gonna take advantage of the system.
They milking it.
Yeah, and they gonna milk it. But
I say milk. That's what I say. Milk it.
Well, so to an extent, yeah, get back what they're trying to take from you.
You've
But
been paying into
also,
unemployment your whole life.
yes, you do. Yes,
You
you
know,
do.
all this taxes they take out of our checks and stuff our whole lives, and y'all don't want people to be on unemployment for too long. Like, get the
Yeah, like I've been working since I was 15 years old. I've had a job ever since.
People
Yeah.
are out here getting screwed by these corporations, and now they want to complain they're making too much money on unemployment. Like,
I mean, the unemployment has helped. I'm not gonna lie, but
let some
that's not
people
something
get some help.
that I bank on. I still go out and do my job on the part time that we're able to work because of COVID.
And you got to think about it. A lot of people with these schools have been closed down. They can't. The daycare centers have been closed down. The jobs have been closed down for like a year.
Yeah, like, and I work for a
You know what I
nonprofit.
mean? Who gonna watch your kids? People had to stay at home to watch their kids. All kind of reasons why people have lost tons of money this year. And now they finally got their unemployment where they can get some of that lost back. And you're like, oh, nope, that's gone.
How long do we ride this out though? How long do we ride it out though?
They
That's the question.
Fed said it was supposed to be until September.
You know what I'm saying? Shit, when September hit, we gonna be like, there's some bullshit. They couldn't this shit. We could have ride out to the rest of the year. You know what I'm saying? Like, motherfuckers gonna keep on living off of it. You know what I'm saying?
And I agree that there should be a stopping point, but to pull the rug from up under people's feet all of a sudden because corporations are upset and they're greedy.
I mean, in less than 30 days, they giving people
that's
to
not an
transition.
excuse.
30 less than 30
the American
days.
people.
So look at Atlanta. Atlanta ain't wearing masks. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people ain't wearing. A lot of spots are open. So,
but that does not negate the fact that there are still different strands of COVID, and people
it's still
haven't been
very
properly
real.
vaccinated.
Like
right?
my friend literally just almost lost her son.
It's a ton of reasons why people aren't going back to work. It's a ton of reasons why they're not going back. It's not just because they lazy and they want to keep on making unemployment.
I'm saying though, motherfuckers out in society.
But some of them, it is because some of them are lazy.
That's some. So you gonna punish everybody for what a few people are doing?
No, I mean, but I think, well, you know, it was based off the COVID strain. You know what I'm saying? I know it's still out here. Motherfuckers still not choosing to get it. They like, fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't real. But then they turn around and they want to check off of it. You see what I'm saying? That's bullshit. That's bullshit. How you want to check off of COVID something they got
something that ain't real?
You can go get it. You can go get a shot to help.
I see exactly what you're saying, Dirt.
You know what I'm saying? Try to help prevent something, but instead you like, nah, I ain't fuck that. But I want. They still need to hand this out to me. You see what I'm saying?
There's got to be some type of compromise in that.
So
there has to be.
You talking about Biden? Biden is coming out trying to put out. All right, we'll pay y'all niggas $1,000 to go take this motherfucker. Motherfuckers didn't jump on that, but they want to keep it. They want to obey. They didn't want to take this $1,000, but they want to get a $600-700 check.
And again, I'm not disagreeing with you on those points, but you do have a certain segment of society that will make every excuse, every plausible excuse that they can not to actually work. Now, with that being said, I think that corporations need to take a look at how they treat their employees. And I don't buy into the whole shit of, well, if we pay our employees more, then we've got to increase we've got to get people, we've got to make that, close the gap between profit and paying and the product. No, that's a bunch of bullshit, right? And like I've done before, like my example of that is if you take the pharmaceutical corporations and you look at the profit margin that they make in quarters, it's for billions. It's billions.
But ain't nobody taking nothing away from them.
Right. It's literally billions per quarter.
They don't even want to pay taxes.
Make. After payroll deduction, after they've paid the required employee health benefits, so on, after all of that, billions they're still making, right? So if those employees, certain employees in the pharmaceutical chain were unemployed and weren't considered essential employees, and they begin to understand and realize their worth, why not close that gap and be like, yeah, I know we was paying you $15 an hour. We understand what's going on. we're gonna push you to 17 an hour. Why is that hard? Why is that not
Right,
understandable? And they're
right.
not losing costs. They're still making
Nothing.
profit. They're still making billions of dollars in profit.
I
So
feel
what
like the
becomes the
people
excuse at
are
that point?
just getting bit in the ass. It's like the government's created this mess, but the people are gonna be the ones sweeping it up in the end. You know, now
Always.
all of a
It's
sudden it's
always on the
our
back.
fault. When
It's
it
always
start
on the
becoming
back
the
end of the
people's
shoulders of the
fault.
working class.
We
Yeah.
didn't shut down this damn country and mess up the pandemic response. You know, like why are the people in the end the ones who got to pay the cost?
The reason why is because it's the people who actually move the country forward. And if the people decide not to work, well, then the corporations are fucked. And the corporations cannot allow the people to figure out the power that they actually have in their position.
I'm like, I thought this was a free country. Like, I understand the argument of people getting paid more and not going to work and all that stuff, but to to do something like that to force people instead of creating more incentives or something, like, it's just not right to me. It's just not.
So, with that statement that you made that it's a free country, you've got to look at what the Constitution actually says. This is a republic. This is a republic. Not only is it a republic, but it's a capitalistic society and economy, and that's the issue. So you're not talking about an actual free country. You're talking about the economics of the country and the makeup of capitalism, the face of
Well,
capitalism in this country, which is downright disgusting.
I hope everybody's paying
Because
attention. I just hope everybody's paying attention of what's going
I
on.
agree.
And like you
well,
said
some are.
earlier, hopefully this will get some people off their ass and start them some businesses and do stuff to change their lives and make their income go up and stuff like that. But like just be like, screw y'all.
No,
Like,
and I think that's my whole statement is pretty much that I think that we knew it was gonna come to an end eventually. So at
yeah,
some point if you knew you weren't trying to set up no business or something, you knew you was gonna eventually have to go back to work, you should have started preparing I think that's what I'm saying. You should have prepared
That's yeah,
yourself.
Mhm.
and I
and
agree
Yeah.
with
God,
that.
we
That's
were
part of
left
it.
in such a state of uncertainty in this country. Like, it was months where we didn't know what was gonna happen, when business was
Nothing.
gonna open up. When, so how can you even plan in that type of situation? If you like the stress and just like, okay, well, I don't know if they're gonna rehire me at this job or should I be looking for another job? I mean, like, what? How many months are we gonna be like this?
Eventually,
It
right.
was so
Well,
much confusion. It was just terrible, and it really effed a lot of people up, way
but
more.
Shay,
Probably not
like,
us four, but it's some people who got totally screwed in this country by
yeah,
this mess.
I don't
Screwed.
disagree.
Oh
But
yeah.
in Dirk's defense, like, look at what we decided to do because of what was going on, right? We decided to collectively push a business forward, right, and try and do something with the time that we had. And I think if people like Dirk was saying, we all knew that this shit was gonna come to an end sooner or later. We all knew. This can't last 2 to 3, 4, 5, 6 years in an economical stance. We can't just have the majority of the country out of work, getting paid, for being at home. So how do you figure out how to regenerate that? A
I think
similar process
I think
of
it's
putting the country back to work.
I think
Say again?
I think they need to just, it's gonna happen, because my thing is like, the only reason why these companies are getting all of this extra business now and hiring all of these new employees is because people have money. People have money to buy things and
Mm,
growing people's business. So once they take all of the unemployment away and people don't have any money anymore, the business is gonna go back down. So all of these new hires that they hire, they just gonna fire them all over again. And they're gonna be right back in the same place, the
mm.
worst place. And
That's
you think them businesses gonna do something? You think they gonna give them an extra $300 a week unemployment? No. They gonna be like,
that's
peace
a
I
out.
big
know a
deal.
lot of jobs are doing sign-on bonuses right now. Like I know one, Assurian, they're doing a $3,000 sign-on bonus,
I think people
and
are going
there's
there.
other jobs doing like $200 sign-on bonus. Like they're doing things to motivate people to come back to
Yeah.
work.
And people
But
are
how long is that bonus gonna last? And then let's look at
Exactly.
the
I mean,
quickly as
taxes.
you want.
but how long is your unemployment gonna last? Because once your what you put into it has run out, all you can do is file for an extension, and you're not
And
gonna get as much
I'm
as you
not
had.
disagreeing with I'm not disagreeing with that either. I'm simply saying that at this point in the game, right, the birth of the country, and people, and then the establishment, the new rule of the federal system as we know it today, that's
Excuse
been
me.
completely stripped and taken off of the gold standard, right? And then money's being pushed into different corporations, and then the government being able to save and earn interest on taxes that we have to pay, so on and so forth.
I
Like,
don't know how
when
much
do you
money
actually?
businesses have gotten through this pandemic. They want to
Yeah,
talk about what the people are getting. These companies have gotten hundreds and thousands of millions of dollars in assistance from the federal government and the state government, just like the people.
yeah.
And they
Just
want
like
to
you was
This
talking
is
about
act
the
like they don't have nothing. They can't make it. Oh, we need people. Like, come on.
that's
like you
because
was
they're
talking about
future paying.
the pharmaceutical companies. Like Jameer got this peanut allergy. We watched the special of this woman that owns one of these
About the
pharmaceuticals.
EpiPens.
The woman that make the EpiPen. She like the motherfuckers cost like $1. They like $10 to make them, but yet they put them in on the market for $300 to $500. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, easily,
It
easily.
takes like
And
it takes like
that's
$10 to make them, and it's crazy.
yeah, and that's part of what I was saying. Like, at this point, we the American people is like, wait a minute, man, wait a minute, wait a motherfucking minute. Like, y'all been screwing us over. We
Forever.
got a year and some change to think about what's been going on, and you're trying to make me go back into this bullshit system? No, fuck that. Shit has to change. Well, then I'm going to give this quick incentive. I'm going to give you a bonus to sign on, but in about 6 months to a year, like, fuck you again. Ha ha ha.
Yeah,
Because I don't really value you as a
exactly what they're
worker.
gonna do. Exactly. That's exactly what they're gonna do. And it probably ain't gonna take a year to happen.
It probably won't. And then people are going to be at the mercy of corporations, and then the corporations are going to continue to give earmarks to our freaking congressmen and senators and the people who write the law, the judicial branch, the folks that actually establish law, to make sure that they get things put into place to continue to make us what we actually are. It's not slaves, but indentured servants.
So here's the thing. Like, I work for like a not-for-profit organization.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if before COVID and everything hit, we were able to see all types of kids, whether you had insurance or not. Now, for us to keep getting our funding, we're not allowed to see children that don't have insurance. Like, if they don't have Medicaid, private insurance, we're not allowed to see them right now at this moment, which is crazy.
The question is why?
Like,
Unemployment. That's what they need to be focusing on. Stuff
because of,
like that.
I guess, government stipulations on our funding. Because, like I said, we're not profit. We don't take money from these people.
Yeah, and that's a part of the game that's kind of fucked up. Then
So
you can't show more. Let me retrace and retract that. You shouldn't show more favor to people just because they can pay, or put more value
exactly.
on them just
Capitalism,
because they
right?
can pay.
So we've been
Versus the folks that can't.
we've been writing grants. We literally set up, and like me and my boss have been sitting up trying to write grants so we can get back to how we were, before this pandemic hit, so we can see all the kids. Because I'm not gonna say half, because a lot of kids are on Medicaid. So we can see those kids, but the kids that don't have Medicaid, who don't have the private insurance.
So what happens to
I
the
mean, at
oath?
least we could.
What happens to your oath? You take an oath as a doctor, you know what I'm saying, to help all.
Like, and we want to do everything, but they, like, the kids that we used to see,
The
like
Hippocratic
that,
Oath.
like, we can't.
Like for her surgery, you know what I'm saying? She wanted to have this surgery, and then her doctor kept, okay, well, let's do this. Everything he kept doing was like, that shit ain't working. You know what I'm saying? To finally where he pulled her to the side and was like, well,
He probably wanted to do everything before surgery because nobody wants to do the.
No, his bosses didn't want him to perform the surgery that she actually needed. You know what I'm saying? Because
Money, they
money.
did.
So they kept her,
Wow.
so they kept doing
That's all money.
these little other little things, well, let's try this. Well, let's try this. And each time they tried it, he knew that shit wasn't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Where he finally came and told her, like, look her, the higher ups telling me, boom, we don't want to go straight to point A. They want to do B and C first. You know what I'm saying? So insurance,
It's so they can make more money.
People, they're just allowed to do whatever they want to do with money, and the government sits there like just with a blind eye, because all these companies fund all of these senators' campaigns and all kind of
Exactly.
campaigns, so they're being bribed right in front of our faces every doggone day. Lobbyists and all of this stuff, stuff together, all of it together. But that's what's wrong with capitalism. It seeps into things like education and medical fields, which should be more human right type of things. Shouldn't have.
And I'm glad you said that, because if you educated people, it's hard to bullshit them, right? It's hard if we were all educated to the level, or at least to an experience, not even completely, to being exposed to what people who train to be doctors. Which is, I'll say that for later. But y'all, Dirt and Kiana, y'all would have been able to make the decision to be like, well, no, I don't. This does not is necessary in order to complete what I'm asking for. This is what I'm asking for. This is how it gets done theoretically. So let's go. Let's close the gap. Let's stop wasting time and making money and get me fixed. Let's do that. Right. But that's an educated person talking. But if we're not educated in certain systems and certain stances, these motherfuckers can do and say whatever.
Correct.
And that's just the bottom line of it.
My thing is, this is America. Why do we not have universal health care?
Because of money. Because of capitalism.
Like, this is crazy.
Anything
we definitely
that's
need
best
universal health care.
to a person's survival is going to be the highest, most expensive thing in this country, because that's how they guarantee that they get those large sums of money, because you about to die if you don't get this surgery. You know what I mean? So they can say, oh, 300,000, got to get it, and then they charge the insurance companies, and it just goes.
Yeah.
It's the demand that the industry carries, the seriousness that it carries. That's why they can do this crazy stuff. That's why they can charge so much.
It's no different, and this is a micro and a macro example. So the diamond industry, and I'm sure everybody's familiar with how this shit works, right? So the diamonds aren't they're not as valuable as the emphasis has been placed on them. They're actually gems that are actually more rare and valuable, should be more valuable than what a diamond is. However, since there's a certain market that can control the flow and the release of the amount of diamonds that are pushed into that market, they control the supply and the demand.
Supply and demand.
Ergo, they're also able to control the price of the diamonds. Same thing happens in our capitalistic society. It's always supply and demand. If you have a pill that can actually cure a person, right? That's not what they want. They want to scale it down and then begin
they want to keep treating instead of curing.
Yeah. It's preventive. It begins to become preventive. And all those different measures to perform preventive are nothing more than supply and demand. That's all it is. They can cure something, but why cure it when you can prevent it and make money
off of it over and over and over and over again?
Hey, y'all ever tripped off like this? Like in the 80s, it was lead. Everybody had lead poison. You know what I'm saying? 90s, what was it in the 90s? It wasn't asthma. It was asthma did hit hard in the 90s. 2000s, it was like all the kids was like ADHD, hypertension. You know what I'm saying? That's how everybody had to get put on medicine and all this. Each year is something for the each decade or whatever. It's something for the pharmaceutical companies to benefit off of.
And look and think about the demographic that's mostly affected by those
I didn't even
diseases and
think about
poisons
that.
and
Right.
toxins. They
Didn't
don't
even
want to
think about
really help the poor.
Yeah.
This
It's
country
always in the poor
for the
community.
rich. The poor, we're
Yeah,
just supposed to be, we just supposed to work for them and just do whatever they say, you know.
I find out what was going on in 2000 because I got a child down there every every 10, 20 years, goddamn me, huh? So it was always something going on.
Yeah.
We all
you
had to
gotta.
get taking shots and shit. Now the shot records don't mean too much of nothing now, except you going to school.
So anyways, I don't got nothing for Governor Kemp. Y'all some real low down, evil people who are doing people like that. Y'all see all these evictions that's going on across the country? The eviction moratorium is up. Everybody's kids getting kicked out. Everybody's getting kicked out. Like
What?
I ain't here.
it's
Hit me
y'all.
the
This
game.
stuff is not over. They want to do all of this changing when our environment hasn't even gotten to the point where the change is like gonna affect it. Like it's just too fast.
Yeah, you
So
have to put up your
talk
own
to me
game
about
in
what's
there.
going on with the
Yeah.
evictions.
Well, it's a lot. It's just I think a lot of states lifted their eviction moratoriums recently, and I heard there was like a backlog of like over 340,000 eviction requests in the court system.
Oh, wow.
And 34,000 people already been evicted in Texas.
Really?
And I don't know how many other states, have dropped that, but if they dropping
So
unemployment, everything about to go.
So that's what I was going to ask you. Was that based off like the COVID
And
standards,
then
where
crime
the
finna go back
eviction,
up.
where they couldn't evict motherfuckers because they was on, because of the COVID stuff, and now everybody like shit. Now they done lifted some of these orders. Boom, y'all niggas got to go. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
I mean,
On a lighter note, guys. Go ahead, Jay.
I was
No,
going
go
to say,
ahead.
I understand that, some people should do more for their own selves and to build their own lives and things like that. But we also have to understand that everybody's not capable, and if you have went through something, lost your job, 2 months without a job for most people, a lot of people can ruin their whole entire year.
Yeah, because a lot of
Just
people don't have a
2
savings.
months of money.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. Like, dang, like they just doing people dirty. They just really is
like I literally used this time off, or the time I was off, to get myself together, because like you said, we didn't know what was going to happen, so all that extra money went into my savings, so I have a cushion if anything was to go wrong. Like anything extra that I got that didn't go towards the now bills is in my savings. I didn't go out buying flat screen TVs. I didn't go out doing nothing, out of my norm.
You kept your STEMI money?
I did.
Ooh, you kept that STEMI
Like all my money, everything extra that I kept is in my savings, because I didn't know what was happening. I paid off my credit cards. I did do that. All my credit cards were at a zero balance.
My STEMI money.
Now I just used it for like essentials
for the wedding.
Yeah,
it was right on time.
So
yeah.
So but I guess there's a lot of people who don't know. They feel like they got this extra money, and I guess some people thought it was gonna be forever, but I knew that it wasn't gonna be forever.
So I'm still worried about the people who weren't doing well before COVID, because once COVID hit, they began to do even worse. Even if they would have received some type of stimulation, the stimuli money, right? They still weren't better off at that point. They weren't better. What happened?
I'm immature. I'm sorry.
You don't want to.
Because I said stimulation.
You're so silly.
I said I'm immature. Keep going. Just go. Keep talking.
well, they still weren't better off. And so what I hope that we can do on our platform once we get to this point, a certain point, is to go into those types of neighborhoods, those areas, and give financial seminars to those folks.
Yeah.
You know, because, and not saying that I'm saying this from a Christian standpoint, because I don't identify as Christian, but I do, however, believe that there are truths within the Bible, right? And one of the truths that the Bible speaks of is that my people perish from a lack of knowledge. And unfortunately, a lot of the folks in those situations that have been in that situation, they don't have the proper knowledge. They're not equipped with the education to figure out how to do better.
It's real out here. Shoot, everybody don't know.
Yeah.
Think about when you're young, just like these college students are just getting out of college and you just learning about life, ain't even had time to get your first job. Like, dang, and then the pandemic hit, and you're like, whoa, you know. Think about the people who didn't have a job and they was looking for a job, and then they shut down all of the jobs. So now they couldn't find a job for 6 months now, you know, and they were already 3 months behind trying to find a job. Like, it's so many different circumstances and scenarios for why people could still be on unemployment. Like, I'm not feeling they stupid little.
Yeah. I don't feel like they should have stopped it before they said they were going to stop it, but we all knew that it was going to come to an end at some point.
Yeah.
It's just best to be prepared if you can be.